The Chicago Bears trade up for the first time in the Ryan Poles regime, trading up to pick number 56 from pick number 61 to draft cornerback Tyrique Stevenson out of Miami. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears draft reaction video, which I'll be doing after every single draft pick that the Chicago Bears make. There's going to be a lot more draft picks coming in the next day. We have 5 more picks tomorrow on day 3. We had 1 more pick tonight on day 2. Zach Pickens, the defensive lineman, which I'll make a video about him right after this one. So that video might be out tomorrow morning because it's super late again when I'm recording this. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I'll be talking about Tyrique Stevenson, the cornerback, in this video. And man, this is a good pick for the Chicago Bears. Even though I know we had to trade up, so we had to sacrifice a 5th round pick in this trade up, which was pick number 136. We gave that up to move from 61 to 56, which I'm totally okay with doing a trade like that because we had the flexibility to do a trade like that with all the extra picks that we had this year. Okay, even trading a 5th round pick, we still have another 5th round pick, I believe our own 5th round pick. So we're not hurting for capital at all on day 3. We still have, an extra 4th round pick on day 3 as well. So I'm totally okay with, going up to get your guy for the first time in the Ryan Poles era, because he clearly thought that Tyrique Stevenson was that level of player at a position of need for the Chicago Bears too. I feel like a lot of Bears fans maybe did not talk enough about the need at cornerback. In most of my mock drafts, I did have the Bears drafting a cornerback at some point on day 2 because Kindle Vildor was not cutting it, guys. Like, did you really want to see Kindle Vildor again all of next year? I know that he did improve last year to some extent, but he's still not like an elite, long-term option at starting outside cornerback. And if Jalen Johnson leaves, guys, which that's a possibility. I mean, he only has 1 year left on his deal. Maybe he asked for too much money, or maybe he gets injured again this year, which leaves Ryan Poles, not wanting to re-sign him to a big contract because he's gotten injured every single year of his career. Obviously I do want Jalen Johnson to be here for long-term, but if we cannot re-sign him for long-term, we got a fantastic starting outside cornerback prospect to take over for him if need be. And best case scenario, if we can re-sign Jalen Johnson, then you have a loaded secondary with Jalen Johnson, Tyrique Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker. I mean, that could be one of the best secondaries in the entire NFL. And as us Bears fans know, as NFL fans know, having a good secondary is so damn important in the NFL nowadays, with all the great receivers coming out of college every single year. You have so many good players at the receiver position, and you need guys to cover those players. So I'm happy that Ryan Poles does view cornerback as a premium position, because it has become a premium position in today's NFL. And he got one of the best cornerback prospects on day 2 to be an outside cornerback for the Bears. And I'm super excited for how, this guy fits in Eberflus's defense. I think that Eberflus loved a player like this on tape, and Ryan Poles, looking at his RES, his athletic testing, he probably, it was a match made in heaven for both sides. Like, both Poles and Eberflus were probably in unison, agreeing that this guy was such a good prospect that they wanted on the Chicago Bears. Let's talk more about what he's going to bring to the Chicago Bears. Tyrique Stevenson is a physical, long, athletic cornerback that has all the capabilities to start on the outside for the Chicago Bears in this Eberflus 4-3 defense. If you look at his RAS testing, you can see fantastic all across the board. Very tall, has good weight, 198. If you look at his vertical and broad jump explosion grade, very good. Very good speed. He has top end speed, going down the field. The 10-yard split, everything is super good. The only thing he didn't test good at is agility. But on tape, I didn't notice the lack of agility hurting him too much. Like, maybe he's not the best in moving laterally and being extremely agile, but he does have the the ability to match up against the physical and the speedy receivers in the NFL on the outside. He's probably not going to be a nickel cornerback for that reason. Like, he's not the best laterally, but he is really good going down the field. He has the speed to catch up against receivers if he does get lost at any time. So on tape, he does have the recovery speed to get back to the ball, and he has the long arms, the reach, the explosion to jump up and get his hands on the ball, get the PBUs, get deflections, all that good stuff. So a lot of good stuff he showed on tape on the outside, and he's one of the most physical cornerbacks available in this class, which is why I think that Eberflus really loved him so much for this defense. He can jam guys at the line of scrimmage. So a press man corner, I mean, if Eberflus wanted a guy that could play press man, this guy can play press man and hold his own against probably good receivers at the next level too, because he does have the physicality to match up against those guys. He has good play strength, he has good footwork, he has good hand usage at the line of scrimmage. His technique is honestly really good compared to a lot of the cornerbacks in this class. I mean, that's why they probably went with this guy instead of Kelee Ringo out of Georgia, because even though Kelee Ringo had fantastic athletic traits, he started on the outside for Georgia, he had what it takes to maybe be a first round pick, he did not have the proper technique and the proper route recognition skills like a Tyrique Stevenson does, which is why, the Bears did select Tyrique Stevenson and not Keely Ringo. So I think that, he's a day one starter type of guy that could be ready to start right away, right? Because in college football, you saw him with the savvy route recognition skills, the awareness, the ability to understand what's happening. He's a very, very smart football player with great intangibles too, exactly what the Bears are looking for in Eberflus's defense. And man-to-man, guys, I mean, he's going to be fantastic for the Bears. Like, he has all the traits of a man-to-man corner. So if we are, blitzing at any point next year, obviously we're going to blitz next year at some points. And if we do have to have this guy man-to-man, and if we're asking him to jam a receiver at the line of scrimmage, I think he can do that for us and enable the passers to get home, with how much he's going to annoy and bother receivers at the next level with his physicality. He could be a pretty good zone cornerback too, which is pretty important because obviously the Bears do play a lot of cover 2 zone under Matt Eberflus. So with his route recognition skills, his physicality, with his ability to, recognize routes, his football IQ, his football instincts, and, just his length too. I mean, this guy has pretty long arms. He's pretty tall. He's pretty big. I mean, he's going to be a pretty good cornerback in zone as well for the Chicago Bears. And looking at his stats, you can see he first went to Georgia. He appeared in 19 games there. He had 1 tackle for loss each year there. Not too much production there, 5 passes defended each year. But obviously Georgia just has insane talent, which makes it really hard to get on the football field. And he could have stayed there, but he chose to, transfer to Miami to get more playing time, to get, maybe noticed more at Miami, and had, pretty good seasons there. He had 11 games he started in 2021, 11 games he started in 2022 as well. And the interception production was not that high. He only had 1 in 2021 and 2 in 2022. But he did get his hands on the ball a decent amount. He had 7 passes defended in 2022. He had 4 in 2021 and a lot of tackles as well, you guys can see. So he is a pretty decent, I would say, tackling cornerback. Maybe not elite like a Kyler Gordon. Like Kyler Gordon, on tape in college, he was one of the best tackling cornerback prospects available in that class. Now, Tyrique Stevenson is pretty physical, but he could improve in terms of the angles he takes while trying to tackle guys. I saw, he did have some missed tackles. So maybe that's one area where he could improve his game. But otherwise, the physicality, everything is on point. The production at Miami was pretty decent. If you look at PFF, he did not allow much of anything last year. So PFF has him as only allowing, let me pull up the stat sheet, but he only allowed 17 catches all of last year for only 353 yards and, a passer rating of 78.4. So really good coverage grade. He didn't allow much of anything last year, and he could be a solid outside cornerback prospect for the Chicago Bears. So let me know what you guys think about this pick in the comments down below. Obviously, I'm pretty happy about it because it's a high-level starter on day one at a position of need for the Bears. It's going to make our secondary so damn exciting next year. I mean, having Kyler Gordon still developing, you got this guy, you got Jalen Johnson still at least for 1 more year. You got Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker. I mean, this is like the Legion of Boom to some extent, right? Like, we have physical cornerbacks, we have physical safeties that can hit you hard, that can get their hands on the ball, they're athletic, they're lengthy. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun in the Chicago Bears secondary next year. So, again, leave your comments down below. I'll be back with another video probably tomorrow morning. As always, bear down.